goodness. All right. The Chiefs now the 30th team to start 8-0 in the Super Bowl era. All of the previous 29 made the playoffs that season. Few ended up losing in the early rounds of the postseason, but 69% reached the conference title game. Just over half of them made it to the Super Bowl. About a quarter of them won a championship that season. The last team to start 8-0 was those Eagles in 2022. Philly reached the Super Bowl but lost to the Chiefs. Here's Andy Reid on Mahomes and that D-Hop connection, how it might get them there.
Yeah, so they have a little connection they can do there, depending on the look that they have. So those two, you talk about being on the same page, they were on the same page. They were off a little bit on the one where it was incomplete on the vertical look when Pat threw it in the middle of the field there. But that one down there, they were spot on, and they have a little freedom on that.
Okay, so D-Hop said that the message from Andy Reid when he got traded there was no matter what, expect the ball to get on you really fast, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the play, don't stop running. Because open. Patrick Mahomes will make something happen. You're always open. Yeah. Only the second game we see D-Hop in a Chiefs jersey. What impact are you seeing from him, Dan?
Well, first of all, I think it was the best game offensively for the Chiefs this whole season. The feel for their pass catchers, the rhythm of their pass game, the gap scheme, pull or run in the second half was huge. But down in the red zone, it's about they're going to hurt you now if you're going to favor Kelce. Okay, 3 guys up top, Hop at the bottom by himself. Hop up top, and then receiver singled by himself. They motion over to that 4-man side. Now watch what Patrick does. Patrick is just moving that defender. He was never going to throw the ball to the bottom of the screen. Now there's a vacancy in the middle of the field. It's Kelce or Hop. Yep. Antoine Winfield Jr.'s got to make the decision, one or the other. Can't be right. And he obviously takes Kelce, rightfully so. Now they have someone that is going to hurt you because of trying to take Travis away. Motion the back end, linebackers there, it's man-to-man coverage. This time he puts Kelce and Hop away from each other. Now that safety that's standing on the H right now, he's everything. Patrick's going to go, okay, look where he starts, look where he finishes. That 1 yard, that's all that he needs. Once that safety leans a half of a yard to a yard to Travis, Hop is the replacement. I think that's the big takeaway in the red zone is they now have someone that can hurt you if you're going to favor Travis Kelce. And that's someone that they really haven't had since Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Look, he played with anticipation and trust like we haven't seen from Patrick Mahomes in a very long time. And if I was talking to Kelce, I would tell him to be patient because this is going to open you up tremendously. Hopkins doesn't even know the offense yet. When he got traded, we said on this show, it felt like this trade was a little bit understated. We knew he'd be great in space. We said he'd provide contested catches. We saw both of those things. We said what his impact would be in the red zone. We saw that. Dan, you said that the question that we have is, will Patrick Mahomes get used to throwing the ball to a guy that looks covered? Right. And you saw on the 35-yarder, he did just that, right? He threw it into a defensive meeting room, and DeAndre Hopkins made him right because DeAndre Hopkins is the receiver that we know he is, and he still has that ability. He looked like vintage G-Hop as well. Yeah. It wasn't just Mahomes. It is going to make this offense look like we've seen this offense in the past and only make an undefeated team probably feel unstoppable if they continue to click like this.
You know what impresses me the most, though, despite all the things on the perimeter that they're doing right now, which are awesome, which obviously takes them from probably already a level that's above everyone else to the next level, is the fact that their underpinnings, their foundation is so damn solid on this football team, especially when you use the analogy like I've always used in terms of team building, as how strong they are down the middle. And that guy right there, Kareem Hunt, is a big part of that now. He's an absolute hammer who runs angry. And he's running behind Trey Smith, who's a beast, Creed Humphrey, probably the best center in the NFL, and Joe Thuney, probably the most skilled guard in the NFL. Then you flip it over to the defensive side, and you got Chris Jones, and you got Nick Bolton behind him, and you got Brian Cook back there in the secondary. Right down the middle of this football team, it's rock solid. Yep. So now all they're doing now is they're going, how do you like this when we had this guy and this guy too and this guy too? You're in trouble now. Now you're in trouble when it comes to the Chiefs. And you know what? Deal with it. You may not like it, but you're going to have to deal with it.
And we're at the trade deadline day where teams are trying to make moves. And just think about this for a moment, right? How many teams could lose their starting running back like Isaiah Pacheco and sign somebody off the street, like Kareem Hunt, wasn't in a camp, brought him in, and now he's one of the best running backs in the National Football League. They lost Hollywood Brown, who was going to be one of their top receivers, to a season-ending shoulder injury. They lost Rashee Rice, who had emerged into a great receiver. And so they just go trade for DeAndre Hopkins. So they get whoever they need, whatever they happens, and they just keep rolling as the last unbeaten team in the league.
Really fast, I want to go back to the Bucs not going for 2. They could have won the game there. I get it. There's risk involved. But what did you think, Carl?
I'm not a fan. I think you put your team in a situation where you can win it on a final play. And I know we don't like to do treetop analysis, Dan, but the reality is you don't want to go see Patrick Mahomes in overtime. So you have the opportunity to win right away. You go for it.
And he called it on air.
I mean, your whole team probably wants
he also
that to be
called
the case.
earlier in the game that they should have slowed it down and ran some more clock off and not let Patrick so much time. He was like, why are they going so fast? Why don't they slow down a little bit here?
It was interesting because Baker got in a little bit of a rhythm, and I think they were
just hyped
going
up.
tempo. They were feeling hyped. And watching on the sideline, you definitely felt that too. But all right, hey, we were talking